Hello, my name's Annie, and I'm afraid of robots. Today I'm going to talk about robots and false accusations. My partner seems to have an irrational fear of false accusations and false imprisonment. He's often paranoid that the tribe is judging him when they probably aren't. I can't figure out his type exactly, but it's pretty clear that he's on the decider side, where I'm on the observer side. I never really understood his fear of false accusations until recently. I got a little taste of it myself, and now I think I can relate. So I've had a few run-ins with robots recently, and now my newest, freshest observer freakout is that I'm officially afraid of robots. Last week, Etsy introduced a new star seller program. An algorithm rates all the shops over 3 metrics. It's customer service, reviews, and shipping. If you get 95% or higher in all 3, then you get a star seller badge, and that lends credibility to your shop. Anyway, I got 100% for 5-star reviews because my products are amazing. I got 100% for customer service and communication because I always message people back right away. And I got a 94% for shipping. So 1 percentage point away from getting the star seller badge, and it's complete bollocks. I have never, ever shipped late. Not one time. And I have all the tracking numbers to prove it. The stupid robot counted my stats wrong. It's not fair, and there's nothing I can do about it. I investigated further, and I found the order in question. Etsy gave me a CVS file that pointed to the order that they felt was not shipped on time. I looked it up, and I have a USPS tracking number that proves that the order was scanned by the post office less than 24 hours after the product was ordered. I keep an eye on my orders, make sure that they're traveling appropriately. When I noticed that the order was stuck in St. Louis or Midwest, wherever, I took the initiative to reach out to the customer. They didn't even ask me. I messaged the guy and I said, hey, it looks like this package is lost or stuck. I'm going to go ahead and send you out another one. I did this just to make sure that the customer service was perfect. Now, I don't always say this kind of thing out loud because other sellers get pissed off when you do stuff like that. If you pay out of pocket for like double shipping twice and you replace items even though it's not your fault, other sellers get pissed off because they think that customers are going to expect that and take advantage of it. This was actually a repeat customer, someone who spent hundreds of dollars at my shop, and I want to have a good relationship, so I just took the initiative. It was kind of an inexpensive item, so I did actually end up spending more on shipping, and I lost inventory by sending the person 2 items. And eventually they received 2 items. They received the item that I sent out first, and then, several days later received the initial item that was like lost for 20 days. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't make a habit of it, but it was just in that situation, my intuition and, my heart was telling me to, hey, just send out another one. No big deal. These things happen. So I wrote a really tedious email to Etsy seller support explaining all this and referencing all the tracking numbers. It was just such a pain in the ass to outline this and explain it all to them and upload all the relevant documents to prove the shipping and the customer communication. It was exhausting. Meanwhile, over the whole seller Etsyverse, people were pissed off. On the Facebook forums, sellers are fucking pissed off about this star seller program. There's all kinds of bullshit, like the bullshit that I encountered. And then also some sellers have digital products. It is not a physical product. It's a download. And this stupid fucking algorithm counted their shipping stats as 0% because there was no tracking number. It was not a trackable item. It's not a physical product. Fucking Etsy, think it through, get your shit together. So just a couple of days after Etsy released the star seller program, I got a survey email. The basic gist of it was, on a scale from 1 to 10, how fucking pissed off are you about the star seller program? And I was like, yeah, very, very pissed off. I mean, it would be great because I'm an excellent seller. I have good products, good communication, fast shipping. If I actually got that badge and it increased my visibility and rewarded me for my excellent customer service, then I would say, yeah, cool, that's awesome. But this thing just randomly and arbitrarily penalized me me for things that are completely out of my control. So after this initial, mess up on their behalf and the backlash, maybe they will improve the algorithm. I don't know. But AI and robots and algorithms are still scary because they can get things like this wrong, and it just feels really icky and gross when somebody accuses you of doing something you didn't do, and when there's punitive action. So I'm over here just doing the best that I can do to provide excellent customer service, and my reward is this bullshit from this stupid algorithm. So I'm wondering if I'm attracting this kind of energy this week, because just yesterday I woke up to an email from YouTube. The email explained that one of my videos on my massage therapy channel was flagged for adult content. There is absolutely nothing inappropriate about this video. Like, nothing. I went back and watched it. Nothing inappropriate about it. The video is a review of hot stone equipment that I use in my practice, created for other massage therapists who are thinking about buying these extremely expensive hot stone tools and wanting more information, wanting to hear opinions of other massage therapists who have used the tool. At the time that I made the video, I had been using them for a year, and that was a while ago. Now I've been using them for several years and I still like them. So absolutely nothing inappropriate about the video. I will put a link in the description if you want to watch it, although it's, really for massage therapists and maybe kind of boring. So I don't actually know what the YouTube algorithm is using to collect this information. Like, are they just listening for audio and trigger words that, are red flags? Does someone eventually actually review this and decide that it's inappropriate? I doubt it, because my video wasn't inappropriate. There's nothing wrong with it. So I think it's just like a algorithm or robot making these decisions. I also wondered if YouTube is actually using images. You know how Google uses images to categorize things, and maybe sometimes Google gets it wrong. Was the algorithm looking at the images? Because this is maybe the only explanation that I could think of. I didn't hear any trigger language that would cause YouTube to flag it. But here are the hot stones. They're unique because they're ceramic. Hot stones are usually made out of basalt. They're ceramic, they're unique shapes and weights, really specific shapes. I've got like 3 of these, and it's nice to have 3 of the same tool. You get used to using them, they all have the same weight, and you use them in a specific way. This one is super duper cool because it feels amazing on the palm of the hand. Now remember, these are heated up, so they're warm. Amazing on the palm of the hand. It feels amazing right here on the neck when you use it. And then there's this guy. I wonder if YouTube thought that this looked obscene, and maybe that is why they flagged the video. I don't know. I really love this thing. It goes down the back. There's this space right here that clears the spine so that you're not like pushing on the spine. These little nubs here push on the paraspinals and, glide down the back. It's also great for hamstrings, quadriceps. I love this tool, but maybe YouTube thinks it looks obscene. I don't know. That's the only reason I could think of that maybe they flagged the video. But I swear and I promise that I only use this to massage people's legs and backs, okay? I don't use this for any, salacious purposes. So the adult content flag from YouTube didn't really bother me just because that channel's dead and I don't really care. I may use the channel again, but right now that is not where my energy is going. So I kind of didn't care. But it does feel creepy and I feel punished. It feels like dangerous that there are algorithms out there making decisions based on erroneous information. I mean, imagine if this was taken to a more extreme level and there was a more severe consequence. Or what if you could be jailed because of some false information that an algorithm gathered? That is pretty scary. The Etsy mistake bothers me more because that's a significant source of income for me. It really, really matters that if they're going to count these stats, they do it correctly. So that one hurts and it pisses me off, and I don't have a whole lot of time to argue with the Etsy seller support. Writing that email to them was really tedious, and I don't have time for that. I got a taste of this kind of like creepy punished feeling that my partner talks about when, he talks about false accusations and this sort of irrational fear of being falsely imprisoned. It might be statistically unlikely, but it isn't actually completely irrational. It's possible that someone can be falsely accused and thrown into prison falsely. But what I think is interesting is that my fear of false accusations has a distinct observer kind of feel to it. Like, I'm afraid of robots and AI and algorithms. Whereas his fear of false accusations is more of a decider thing. It's usually more personal, more specific. Sometimes we might go to family dinner and he might say, I don't think your mom liked it when I said XYZ, or I don't think your mom likes me, which is absolutely ridiculous because my mom loves him and she thinks it is like the biggest miracle that has ever happened to me that I ended up with him, because he is way, way, way better than me. She loves him. It's a miracle that we're together. Other times he might go to the grocery store and say, people were looking at me funny. So it might not be someone specific. It's like just people in general, the tribe was judging me. And they probably weren't. I think mainly people are looking at him because he's tall and handsome, but he thinks that they're looking at him because he's dirty looking. He is dirty because he's a contractor. So, you know, he doesn't always look fresh as a daisy when he stops by the store at, 5:30 p.m. on his way home from work. He also has kind of a complex about his skin being a bit darker. Like when he's in airports, he's afraid that he's going to be profiled because his skin is a little bit darker. It's funny because he's like Scottish. I don't know why his skin is so dark, but when he did his, genetic testing with his family, like he's overwhelmingly Scottish. But if you put my skin next to his, when I'm as tan as I get, he is like several shades darker than me. And I think he kind of has a complex about that when he goes to the store after a long, hard day of work. Maybe he's a little sweaty, his shirt gets ripped in places from his tool belt, he has like a 5 o'clock shadow, and he just feels self-conscious that people are going to be suspicious of him. Or like on a spectrum in a lineup of people, they would judge that he looks more like a criminal than the other people in the lineup. As long as we're talking about skin color, profiling, and the pervasive nature of implicit bias, it's important to acknowledge that robots and algorithms are not immune to implicit bias. If humans are biased and humans create robots, then robots will be biased. Implicit bias is made out of a million little assumptions. It's pervasive and pernicious, and we should be aware of how it infects everything it touches. They say God created us in his image. We also create in our image. Something to think about. But more and more, like this week, after being targeted by these false accusations from these algorithms, I have a little bit of that feeling of like, it really sucks to be falsely accused of something. And my mind kind of wanders and thinks of how bad it could be. Like, what will algorithms do in the future? And could you be falsely imprisoned because of some stupid mistake that a robot made? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, those are my random thoughts this week. A bit of an observer freak out about robots.